Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to the Grow a Garden video. Today I'm going to go over literally everything added in the new Chubby Chipmunk update, as well as an absolutely insane glitch that you need to take advantage of right now to get a full team of Chubby Chipmunks, not just 2. I'm talking about up to 8 Chubby Chipmunks, meaning you'll get 8 times the rewards. Do this fast because it technically already got patched, but there is a workaround to still do it. I'll tell you how to do that. But if you enjoy this video, find it useful, just want to stay updated on all the best leaks, tips, tricks, and methods for Grow Garden, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. With that being said, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into the video. Alright, today the new Chubby Chipmunk update came out, and as always, I want to go over everything they added in this update so you know exactly what there is to look forward to. Now, first off, let's talk about the Chubby Chipmunk event itself. It's pretty straightforward. As soon as you start playing, you'll see a little chipmunk here. You collect it, and then you can place it down on your garden. Every 2 minutes, the chipmunk will eat a fruit and gain a little bit of weight, and after it's done eating, an acorn will randomly spawn and grant you a reward. Here's an example of an acorn right here, and here are all the possible rewards you can actually get from an acorn, including the new Nutty chest, which has the new Chinchilla, which is an absolutely broken pet, and the new pet shard Nutty, which is a really good pet shard specifically for this chipmunk. Now, there's also some other rewards you can get from getting your chipmunk chubby. Like I said, as it eats, it does gain some weight, and as its weight goes up, you'll unlock different rewards that you can go ahead and claim, and this maxes out at 50 kilograms with the pecan being the final reward, but there's a ton of other rewards, including 3 energy chews, which are pretty useful. They guaranteed refresh a pet's ability, so that's pretty insane, and there's some other interesting rewards in here too. There's also the Nutty Fever, and once you reach 1500 points, it'll activate the Nutty Fever, which means your chipmunk will activate its ability every 30 seconds instead of 2 minutes. Now that's it for really the event itself. Like I said, it's a pretty straightforward event. However, let's talk about some other changes here. So there is a new Evo apple seed. If you played the Evo event, you are actually able to craft the Evo apple seeds. Now the value of this is really horrible, so I'm not sure exactly why it's in the game. Considering the seed stages event itself is actually gone, I don't know why it's here. We also have some new seeds, obviously, with that new chest that came out, and a ton of quality of life changes. You can see here there's a ton of changes that make the game a lot more playable, including a harvest all button for 9 Robux. I don't think this is really worth it, although it is pretty cheap, and just a ton of other things. So what are we actually going to be farming in this event? Well, the only way to get rewards is either from collecting acorns that spawn around the map and collecting the rewards from the reward track. Now, this reward track is going to take a very, very long time. Some people said you would literally have to AFK for 7 days straight to reach the 50 kilograms for the pecan. So this is not going to be a consistent source of rewards. Your main source is going to be coming from these chipmunk passive rewards. So that being said, you're going to want to focus on speeding up this chipmunk passive as fast as possible. Now, I've done a lot of testing, and most of the cooldown pets do not work on the chipmunk. However, one of them does actually seem to work, and it is the griffin. Now, this pet really isn't worth much. However, it might go up in value after this, but every 15 minutes, it releases a cyclone, and pets struck have their cooldown advanced by 60 seconds. So yeah, from what I've seen, it does actually advance the cooldown by 1 minute, which is really, really nice, and I'm definitely going to be using a full team of griffins. I got to go ahead and get my griffins from my alts, and if they do patch the glitch that I'll be talking about later, I'll definitely be using a full team of griffins with my Chubby Chipmunk. But right now, the griffins are not important because you can obviously get a full team of Chubby Chipmunks. Now, that being said, for the Chubby Chipmunks themselves, the age of the Chubby Chipmunk does not affect its KG. It only affects it visually for some reason, but it doesn't actually affect the number, and it does not affect the passive at all. But there is one other thing you can do to increase the passive and actually increase the amount of weight that it gains every time it eats a fruit, which is to use toys. If you grinded the last event, the seed stages update, for a bunch of rewards, you will probably have tons of toys. Literally use 1 of each toy on your chipmunk, and not only is it going to increase the timer for the passive, it went literally from 2 minutes down to 1 minute and 20 seconds. Also going to increase the amount of weight it gains. It went from 0.01 to 0.013, and it's just going to make your chipmunk a lot better. And then obviously I would highly recommend you were taking advantage of the Nutty Fever event. Personally, I just planted a bunch of tomatoes, and I just go back and forth collecting my tomatoes and submitting it. I think the higher the rarity of the plant, the more points you get, but it obviously doesn't really matter because you can just pick up a ton of tomatoes and submit it to the NPC over and over again. And as you can see, the Nutty Fever is active for 5 minutes, and during this time, every chipmunk will perform its ability every 30 seconds, with obviously the griffins allowing them to perform slightly more abilities than they would be able to. So from here, I would just go ahead and start collecting acorns from my chipmunk. But putting this all together, the absolute best strategy to farm this event without the glitch I'm going to mention is going to be using 7 griffins along with 1 chipmunk, using toys on that chipmunk, and then every 5 minutes activating the Nut Fever and just running around collecting the acorns that the chipmunk drops. That is going to be the best method to farm a ton of those acorn chests and get as many rewards as possible. Now, once you finally get yourself a pet shard Nutty, which is a 0.2% chance, put it on the chipmunk. This is probably the only pet it's actually useful for because levels don't matter. Basically, it's going to give a 20% chance that the pet performs its ability again, but if it doesn't, it loses a level. But as I said earlier, the levels for chipmunks does not affect its weight at all. So definitely once you get that shard, use it on your chipmunk to make it even more efficient. But that is just the best strategy to farm this event without the glitch I'm about to mention. Because this glitch might get permanently patched, I just wanted to go over the best strategy overall. So let's go ahead and get into the glitch and how I already have 3 chubby chipmunks and how I'm about to get more. So once you start playing, you're going to go ahead and get your first chubby chipmunk for free just from collecting it from the sign here. And then you're going to bring it to your garden, place it down, and you're going to go ahead and level it up. If you've been a part of any admin abuses, you should have a good amount of lollipops, probably even hundreds. You're going to need 50 per chipmunk. So once you place your chipmunk down, go ahead and use 50 level up lollipops on that chipmunk and get it up to level 50. Once it's at level 50, go ahead and pick it up, and we're going to go ahead and bring it over to the mutation machine. Then once you put this chipmunk in the mutation machine, you'll notice that you can go back to the middle event area and claim another free chipmunk. Go ahead and claim it, and then go back to the mutation machine, and you'll see we have another chubby chipmunk. This one's red. That actually looks pretty cool. And you can go ahead and cancel the recipe for this and get your other chipmunk back. Now you have 2 chubby chipmunks. And this is where a lot of people stopped, but believe it or not, you can do this again. So with the chipmunk that you just got, go ahead and place it down, use another 50 level up lollipops on this chipmunk, pick it back up, and then bring it back to the mutation machine, put it in, go back to the event area, and claim your next free chipmunk. And you can do this over and over again. Just keep leveling up your new chipmunk over and over again. So I had enough to go ahead and get myself 5 chubby chipmunks. I'm out of lollipops now. I only have 22, but you can easily get up to 8 chubby chipmunks if you do have a ton of lollipops from all the admin abuses. I unfortunately haven't really been participating in admin abuses recently, but just with these 5 extra chubby chipmunks, that is 5 times the rewards every time I activate the Nutty Fever. Now keep in mind, it is going to take into account your newest chipmunk for the actual rewards here. So it reset my KG back to 1.04, but eventually you're going to have all the chipmunks you want, and then it's just going to go off your newest chipmunk. Now, like I said, this was kind of patched already, and what I mean by that is that they did release a patch for this, so you can't do this in new servers, but if you find a server that is version 1947 or below, you can still do this glitch. So go ahead and server hop public servers until you find a server that is 1947, or stay in whatever private server you've been in, or maybe join a private server that hasn't been reset yet. You just want to find a server that is 1947, and as long as they don't reset all the servers like they tend to sometimes do, this glitch will still be working if you can find a server version 1947. So it is not patched currently as I'm uploading this, but it is possible it could be patched by them resetting all of the servers. That being said, if it does get patched, go ahead and use the other strategy I mentioned earlier. That is still going to be the best strategy without the glitch. But currently for me, using my 5 chipmunks along with 3 griffins and then taking advantage of toys and the Nutty Fever is going to get me a ton of these nutty chests and other rewards really fast. I'm going to take advantage of this as fast as I can before it gets nerfed. Now, the big ticket item for this event is going to be the brand new Chinchilla, which is that 1% pet inside the acorn chest. Now, this Chinchilla is absolutely broken. Let's go ahead and place it down. As you can see, every 40 minutes goes to another pet and makes it perform its ability 3.05 times in a row. Now, the insane part about this is that everything about this ability scales with its age, weight, and mutations. So especially if you're able to hatch a rainbow version from this exotic nutty chest, that will be incredibly OP. But just from using toys and just from leveling it up and just from mutating it to rainbow or gold will give you really good stats, but these stats alone are actually still really good. Now I am curious, I want to do a little bit of testing just to see if the mimic can mimic the Chinchilla, because that will mean you really don't need to get multiple Chinchillas, and the Chinchilla description does not say it's unmimicable unlike some other pets. So I am curious, I think it might actually be mimicable. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for the mimic's ability to almost be ready, and we'll see if it can mimic the Chinchilla's ability. Here we go. The mimic is about to perform its ability. Let's see if it copies the Chinchilla. and it did not copy the chinchilla. So it looks like even though the description doesn't say it's unmimicable, it really is unmimicable, unfortunately, which does kind of make sense because that would be a little bit OP. But all you really need to do is get a few more chinchillas, and because of how easy it is to grind this event, especially with that glitch right now, you can probably get a full team of these before this event is over. You just need to really take advantage of this glitch as fast as possible. So yeah, that is everything you need to know about the new Chubby Chipmunk update, along with a pretty crazy glitch that you should take advantage of as fast as you possibly can before it gets nerfed. I'm really curious to hear you guys' opinion on this update. I feel like the community is a lot happier with this update, but I do want to know your guys' opinion. I personally think this update is okay. It's a bit shallow. Once again, like the seed stages update, there's not an incredibly large amount of stuff to do, but it does seem pretty rewarding, especially for those nutty chests and that chinchilla pet. That chinchilla pet is going to hold a lot of value, so you're going to want to get that as fast as you can and as many of them as you can before this event is over. That being said, if you enjoyed this video, found it useful, or just want to stay updated on all the best leaks, tips, tricks, and methods for Grow Garden, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I hope you all have an amazing day and good luck gardening.